Stand pledge of allegiance. Anyone who's not, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good. So moving on to the third item now, consider and act upon May 15, June 19, and August 21st meeting minutes. Is everybody okay with the meeting minutes? Any comments?
Make a motion to approve the meeting minutes.
I will do.
I'll second.
I'll say
Then you say all in favor?
all in favor? Aye. Very good. Now moving on to the fifth item, to hear, consider, and act on the replacement of no corner red sign with a used pedestrian sign at Sacred Heart Library in Park Avenue. So I can present this item. This is the item. So not sure if you are aware, there's a new traffic signals. They are installed at the Park Avenue and Sacred Heart University. Just this, they have completed the work. This month, the utility work is complete. They're waiting to get the power on. So we have installed the new signals, which were very old signals. They're being replaced with exclusive pedestrian buttons at that intersection. So initially we got approval for no turn on red under the signal. That sign was approved when the signal plan was approved by OSTA and the previous local traffic authority. Sacred Heart says that due to that sign, it is creating a backup at the driveway of the Sacred Heart, Park Avenue. So it's creating a massive backup at the driveway. So they requested to remove that sign and that sign to be replaced with a new pedestrian signs. And it will be post-mounted sign at the driveway and we will remove the no turn on red sign. I did visit the site. I saw that there was a backup at the driveway. That was one observation there was. Another observation was that would it pose any safety hazard to the pedestrians, and the answer is no, because there's an exclusive pedestrian button at that intersection, the crossing at that intersection. So when the drivers are making right turn, first of all, we have exclusive head button, and second, it will also make aware of the drivers and the pedestrians here if you're making right. So we have a dual safety over there. So I don't see any problems with that. And I also discussed this with OSTA. OSTA is fine. They have to fill the application as usual, signed, and it has to be also approved by our local traffic authority. So if anybody has any questions, comments, please let me know.
Do you have the diagram? I thought it was in the packet, right?
I can.
Yeah, there's a backup.
I think this backup, unfortunately, was not included. But I can hold the just give me 1 second.
Oh, is that one not?
That was a block.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. So I can pull that from there. I can actually show you.
You want to show it in street view or something?
Yeah, that will be helpful. So I think meanwhile.
Now, is there any specification how far back from the intersection that sign would be installed?
That will be at the, I have to see the MEC regulations. It's a post mounted, like, 7-foot tall sign, and then it has to be a little bit at where that 8-year angles. So I have to see that specification. I don't know whether that's right. Technically, it won't go at the driveway, it will be at opposite where the signal is.
Yeah.
And it will just install
Just the signalization.
Post mounted 7-foot high. I have to see it if it will happen.
Yeah. This intersection has the stanchion arm, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Now I'm going to these maps
I just got
here.
those in here.
Very quickly. this intersection, so a little bit through. So you see, this is a Sacred Heart driveway where the median is. This is a median when I cursorize. So this is a driveway. This is a driveway. So when you're turning right here, it actually blocks the traffic because the signal over here, which is this signal, there is no turn red under that signal. So we want to remove that, and actually when we are turning, and we have exclusive buttons over here too. This is a new crosswalk here. You know? This was not before, but we did it because when we were in the field, we saw that people are just going way too long around across here and here. So we actually, this is a new crosswalk here where we see some head buttons. So we have two buttons here that facing each other. So this is where they were saying that all the driveway is being backed up when they're going on the right. So this is where we are removing the sign, no turn on red here, and then we are replacing here with the pedestrian sign. Because when they're turning right, they can just know that they have to use pedestrian as an exclusive.
This is, so if I can ask the question is, so there's plenty of sightline visibility going, like.
Yes, so I know
There's
where,
like a topography change at some
here
point.
over here it's a
Okay.
slight hill. And when I went in on the side, and even Bill measured it in the side, if you have sufficient intersection side distance that we have notified, it's around 450 feet or something when people are like from here, from this, and so, you know, it's over here. So, we don't have any other, we didn't find any major issues to remove the sign that we provided.
Need a motion?
Yeah.
So I'll make a motion to approve the replacement of the no turn on red signal with a yield to pedestrian sign at the Sacred Heart driveway and Park Avenue intersection.
I'll second it. Everybody in favor, say aye.
We have to submit this. I know.
So-
Submit it.
And then we'll move on to the sixth item to hear, consider, and act on the request of do not block driveway sign at the Park Avenue, Northern Cornrows driveway, and by Bridgeport. This request is by Bridgeport. So if you go on our agenda, I can pull the maps again on our agenda. I'm going to switch here. So you see this red rectangular box? This is where the signs will go. Do not block, and then there is also one subject to fine 315517. So these are we had a driveway, do not block driveway sign on the pavement, and also that says do a mountable sign there because so that any traffic is not blocking the driveways over there at the north side corners. That request was actually made by Bill to Bridgeport, and Bridgeport actually consulted with their Bridgeport LTA and with OSTA, and they said it's okay as long as there's the sign shown with details on the plan. All the leaders now are making comments, questions.
Is that side street?
Park Avenue North, it's a condo.
Condos.
So can I understand, like, is this, so this is on our side of this? Like, where's the jurisdiction end? In the middle of the
Half and
road?
half middle of the road, the Park Avenue, that's so
North is to the left on there, so
So Whoever-
This is within.
Bottom of the page is in.
Yes,
Is in Fairfield jurisdiction,
Yes.
okay.
Where the sign is Fairfield and that opposite is Richmond.
Bridgeport.
And this condominium is in Fairfield.
Yes. That was part of the site plan review as well.
I think if it seems appropriate, from a police enforcement perspective.
It's a fine review.
It's fine for us, and it's common sense, but obviously it's needed. So we could definitely,
Yeah, just in
at least
case
it's
they-
there and it gives us the enforcement action if there are cars blocking it. So on our end, definitely it would help us to enforce it if it came up.
For discussion, I don't mind making a motion, but if I can just put a little tab to it, that if they ever go back or the MUTCD says you can do this cross hatching, if you find that there's a high number of violations, that we've already pre-approved, go back to the.
Go back and
block
paint the road if
box,
need be.
right, yeah. I can do
You just made the motion.
it. Yeah.
I'll second it.
Do as is, but then in the future, if something comes up, it's an
You
issue.
could just be done without having to.
Exactly.
Okay, everybody in favor say aye. Aye. That's right. We'll stop sharing my screen and then. This is done. Now next is to hear, consider and act on a revised parking plan along Naps Highway and Melville Avenue. That, me pulling the plan and then giving it to you.
I have to admit, I need a little walkthrough on this one. I looked at the drawings and I was highly confused.
I'll try to explain it.
Okay,
and-
good.
And then maybe you won't have to go out.
Let me open the plans quickly. I have to run off. Then this let me
While you're doing that, if you don't mind, I'll just do a little description. You can start. Just for some background or whatever, as you go left to right, that's Melville Avenue. A big building with a lot of solar panels on it, that is the Ward High School. There's two parking lots that are shown on this map. There's more parking down the back. And the one that kind of goes to the upper left to the lower right, that's Naps Highway. Where you see red, those are signs that say no parking. When we met with Lieutenant Stahl,
Can install school safety.
school safety commander, he said there were some issues that have cropped up in the past. And with the beginning of school, we're trying to eliminate any bad habits. With the police department, went out there and we relocated some of the no parking. If we start all the way over to the left, you'll see a rectangle right by the crosswalk. That used to be only 25 feet because that's typical of no parking within 25 feet. We have increased that to, I believe, 65 feet so that you provide more visibility to the crossing guard and to anyone using the crosswalk, since that's a heavily used crosswalk. The next batch of red signs, they stay and remain there. They are no parking on Melville Avenue. So that's pretty much, and there's no parking on the other side as well, but we're not changing that. Two other things that were discussed. One, for observation, there's no parking. What happens is if you go back, can you go back to the loop there? Yeah, the first one. Yeah, you can see the loop there. A lot of people, especially in the afternoon, come in and pick up. And what happens is, since you can only utilize about half the loop, and so that creates a backup onto Melville. And so parents that are waiting, rather than go in the loop, or they're waiting for the turn to go into the loop, will stand there. I don't think as long as they stand there, I don't think it's an issue, because we don't have a solution for it. There's too many cars at once at the high school pickups. So we're willing to allow that, I suppose, unless in the future we find that's causing an issue. But obviously, we don't want any parking. So I just wanted to bring that up. The other issue is along here, it's just free-for-all parking. You park wherever it says you're not allowed to park. You can park where there is absence of no parking signs. So, police had suggested that we designate parking spaces. And so, on the plan, you'll see 22 times 8 and then 18. For any of the spaces in the middle, we have found out through our downtown parking plan and a couple of other streets, you have to give 22 feet to maneuver, the 3-point turn and that kind of stuff. But the ones on the end, sometimes you can cheat a little and do 18 because of the white buffer area. If nobody's there, that gives you 18. So that's what that is. So what's before the LTA is whether we want to just leave it as here's where you can park, here's where you can't park, or whether we actually want to designate 8 or 9, actually in this case it's 9, on Melville, and then there's more on Naps Highway, the actual parking spaces, kind of like what we have down. So that's one of the new issues. Now, as we go to Naps Highway, yeah, you can do that. What do we do? Yeah, go back to it. The first one. That's dope. So for that one, again, we elected there was no parking, and so we have 20 feet on either end, and then there's 22 feet in the middle. That was confirmed, and then the next batch to the west of the driveway, similar situation there. There was a slight relocation of one of the no parking signs. We moved it, actually, we had like 12 feet or so we actually made it 6 feet more so that we were able to squeeze in and have to stop. So that's basically it. This has been a plan that was marked out in the field. If they get approved by the FTA, as a support of the police department out there with them, it would just be the next step would be to give it to sign marking, paper marking, contract, safety marking. That's that. The only other observation, which I'm sure the police know, in the blue box on that, there were hardly anybody parked.
Yeah, that, because juniors getting the licenses, those open now, but as the year progresses, that will be full because you're gonna get a lot of 16-year-olds getting their licenses. So then that's when that fills up, and then on-street parking, that's when, so later in the spring is when most of the parking issues come up. As more kids get their licenses. The same
Sophomore and junior class as they get their license.
So there are spots now, but
300 more.
as the school year progresses, the parking becomes a little bit more limited. And we were having problems, especially like the Naps in Melville, kids were parking on the crosswalk, so I think eliminating some of the spots next to the crosswalk will definitely help with cars turning and sightline issues.
Yeah.
One of those, well, I didn't see the sign. Well, now it's sign and pavement marking. It's a little hard to.
The other thing, though, remember when we were out there, remember the Melville, I know we need to create the no parking by the crosswalk and by the tennis courts. Those,
further
yeah, so
down.
over here,
Did I scroll down?
all these spots.
Oh,
Like, I know we have to eliminate those because of the
Yeah,
crosswalk
right.
issues. These 9 spots there,
Yes.
is it worth marking those or leaving those? Because I remember the road on that
Right.
side was narrow because the yellow line wasn't in center.
That's right. Thanks for.
So if those get actually marked spots, then we're technically now telling people you can park there and forcing them over the yellow
Right.
line. So I don't know if it's better just to hash mark the no parking area and leave
Yeah.
that and not paint the spots, and if kids park there, they park there, but we're not designated it as
Right.
parking.
And the reason why, for whatever reason, is they have in the previous allowed parking and the yellow line had moved over. When they repaved the road, they probably just gave safety marking in order to mark it. They typically, unless you tell them to shift the line over, they mark it in the middle of the street. And so you basically, if cars are parked there, cars are actually have to cross the yellow line. So we would
Can we
designate
have
that.
them, can we have them fix it when they park these, when they do these
There's-
spaces?
There's room, because the other side, the no parking side actually has a wider
too
lane.
wide.
Right, so we, two options,
That could
one
be a
would be
solution.
to sandblast or remove the yellow line, move it over. Or if the pavement, the street needs to be repaved, say next year or the year after, just wait until pave the road and then, those are the options. This is why I'm glad we have that view.
Yeah, because you could shift it over.
Just
from
like
the
we're marking,
exit.
these are all extra costs that,
Yeah.
for significant budget, it might not matter, but if you start having 10 or 12 items that we weren't counting on each month or two adding on, then it does affect the budget.
So can we make a general motion then that incorporates?
Could I ask a quick question?
Or go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
yes, sure, we can open for the discussion with the FTA, yes. Mike, go ahead.
I'm just curious, those parking spaces, those 9 spaces that were just outlined there on, I guess it's Melville, do those compromise the turning into the pickup zone?
They won't now, they have in the past, yes, because it was only 25 feet from the intersection. Now it's 65.
So that would be sufficient for cars waiting to get into the turnaround coming from that direction?
That would allow for 3, perhaps 4 more cars.
Uh-huh.
But again, to Jeremy's point, if it's not marked, so basically what I think you're saying, Mike, is should we extend the cross-hatching even more to make sure? That I don't know.
I'm just not that familiar with it day to day.
Yeah.
It would strike me that if the turnaround backs up at critical times, that's a logical place for cars to queue. If they're
Right,
parking
yeah.
in there, that's just going to jam it up more, won't it?
They're currently parking there. So
They are?
right now, there's permitted parking in that stretch.
Uh-huh.
We were getting a lot of complaints from the crossing guard that cars were waiting like
Right
on the
there.
crosswalk. But yeah, currently that stretch, the students are currently parking there. We were just trying to push the cars away from the intersections by throwing the hash marks in there.
Okay. I mean, I defer to you. It strikes me as a place where you'd want to give people some elbow room, but if it's working, then it's fine with me.
We could certainly study it. We could always add more. I would think on a sunny day, it's probably not an issue, but rainy day or cold weather.
Well, alternative,
back up.
no parking
Right.
completely, but then that's kind of eliminating being what Stall was trying to do by add parking. So it's definitely, I'm sure there's definitely some issues with queuing over there, as with all of our systems.
So, I would say I'd be in support of. My concern is new drivers need a lot of visual cues and it's better to give them guidance instead of having to make the judgment call in terms of very clear pavement markings. So the only thing I would say is I would be in favor of moving that yellow line on Melville itself, but at the discretion of the DPW director, based on budget concerns,
It's not a
right?
budget
So,
concern, so I would say.
so what I would say is, so if I can make the motion that indicates that the buffer zones as indicated on the plan, as well as the parking spaces as delineated on Knapp's Highway to be installed as phase one, and then the parking spaces to be designated at such time that that yellow line per the DPW budget can be relocated to provide sufficient travel lane width.
I just want to add one other thing too. My perception of when you remove lines on the road at nighttime, there's like a little bit of a glare or it's a little uneven, so it's not just budget. There's other
Yes, there
reasons
are other
involved.
reasons.
I just wanted to highlight
Yeah,
it.
when you're
It's strictly-
eradicated.
right.
Just from the safety perspective.
So can we approve it, but as an installation as phase two when the, when you meet all the criteria?
Yeah, so.
How about you approve phase one, and then phase two would be upon approval of the police department and DPW. Police department, if they find that we might need more space for backups, then we go with 65 to 85 or 90 or whatever it might be. And the DPW, just to take a look at the budget at 60.
So Melville as a whole will be phase two, not just the parking grade. So the no parking, the 65 feet hash marks, that won't be done now either, or
I
should
would start with.
start with
Yeah, we'll
that?
start with
I would
that,
then
right.
address parking as phase two.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's
Parking and the
perfect.
yellow line.
Because that will eliminate
But
our
no
crosswalk
parking,
crossing
no
issues.
parking will include it here. That was important to the crossing guard.
Yeah, it's just the actual designated
Correct.
spaces will be addressed
Right.
at a later time in the road.
Yeah,
can
we
be
just gotta make the
restriped
motion.
So the proper way.
I'm fine with what he says.
So I'm okay as long as everybody is. Any questions before I make a motion?
I think Bill may already make the motion.
So you already know, okay, I'll second the motion. Everybody in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, so let's move on to the headings. Here, consider and act on new signs and markings for the following streets. So now, just to give you an overview for there are 10 streets. They're coming from June, July, August. We had one canceled meeting and there was a little bit of backlog. We're still working and responding to the residents. But these were the quick approvals, just so that everybody know there are some new signs that we are installing at these sections at the request of the residents who live there and made a complaint, and also dedicated to complaint for the signs. And we think some everyday signs should be installed as per the guidelines, and so I'm gonna go one by one over these streets. One is Fiddler Avenue. Fiddler Avenue, so that came through the FDA webpage. The complainant actually requested to put a flashing speed tracker sign on this roadway, because they feel that there's speeding issues and it should be tracked on that. So Bill reviewed this as well with us, and his, and you can see in the backups as well, his comment was, request on seasonal speed study list, place and place locating speed feedback sign. So he's proposing proper speed limit sign improvement. Oh, do you want to speak on this a little bit?
Sure, it would be is to find out if there's a seasonal speed study, put out the black cats, find out if it's truly a speed problem or not. Based on the police's rotating speed feedback sign, just to put it in, every 2 weeks or so, you rotate it two months. I don't know.
3 months or so.
Oh,
It's,
okay.
it's a big process, but they do rotate.
Right.
We do rotate them, it's just,
And I know there's the trailer, there's smaller signs. But anyway, we put it on the list for that. And then the quick approval would be is I didn't notice any speed limit signs. So I'm gonna put one on like basically each end of the road that says 20 speed. So that would be a quick approval. So a motion for quick approval? Or yeah, we'll do each one.
Any discussions, questions from our FDA group? There's no problem, so no questions. I'll say the motion.
To approve the speed limit sign?
All in favor, say aye. So this is gone now. So let's go on to Fogwood Road. Fogwood Road, the complaint type is drivers are way too fast on
Wait, did you
Fogwood.
skip one or not?
No, we did figure, it's Fogwood. Yeah, the post road will be for this one.
Okay, that's it.
So that's what's Fogwood Road, drivers are way too fast. Countermeasure requested by complainant on this is he wants a speed limit sign on this roadway. Opinion, the drivers can see end of cul-de-sac install dead end sign of 25 miles per hour speed limit sign. Install no outlet gate placard on top of speed sign. It's a quick approval for 25 miles per hour speed limit sign. So we'll
Sure, just real quick, and this was just my opinion. You know, when should a street have speed limit or dead end or no outlet? To me, it's not into, like you're turning into the road, you don't know if it's a through street or not, it makes sense to have it.
Yeah.
If you go in and it's a 3-lot subdivision with the cul-de-sac right there and you can see that there's no outlet, but there's really no need to. We're trying to not have signs everywhere. Exactly. So that was kind of my opinion, just thought process for everybody. Obviously, if you disagree, please let me know. So on this one, DPW, I believe, has the small dead end, or in this case, I'd say no outlet, because there was one little side street, no outlet that they can put right on top of the street sign that identifies Fogwood Road. And then again, because we don't know how far that road goes out, and it's complaining, there is no speed limit sign, putting 25 mile per hour. Just one chance.
Yeah, it's all residents.
Exactly.
Maybe people making deliveries. If it's a dead end, it's a bigger dead end, but it's still
Right, exactly.
totally.
Make a motion to approve a 25 mile per hour speed limit sign.
I'll second the motion. All in favor, say aye.
And I'm not sure if DPW, or if you have to approve a no outlet and yellow sign.
We already approved this time, so no more this time. So next is one is the Judson Street, the Judson and Beach intersection. This comes from the Fairfield Beach Road resident. He says there is inadequate signage and poor sight lines on this intersection. We actually are looking for a very quick approval on this road.
And that's what we have this
Yeah, so it's actually can make an amendment to it. This is by mistake with over resident address for the
Oh, okay.
for the Judson.
This is
and
Beach Road in Judson.
Yes.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
We wrote the resident address because they get scenarios. But the residents, Fairfield Beach Road resident is complaining about Judson and Beach Road intersection because of the poor side visibility. That's not inadequate signage and poor sight lines. So you want to go over the
Sure. Also, this is where sometimes it gets a little confusing. There's also somebody else who made a request at the same intersection, a resident, and also the police department had requested this a couple of months ago, and it's finally made its way to the agenda, where just even adding a cross traffic doesn't stop sign, a supplemental sign, which is MUTCD approved, would at least let people know that they have to look both ways and don't assume it's a four-way stop. So that's what the quick approval would be, is to install cross traffic doesn't stop on the two side approaches at East Colby Street and Judson Road approaches. And another quick action item would be DPW engineering to write annual, I think DPW does anyway. It seems like every year they write a letter, reminder to the homeowner to trim hedges, so they would do that as well. And longer term, this still ends up being an issue. You could possibly look at all the way to stop in Fairfield. The fear there, though, is that you have 3 stop signs at 3 very close intersections. And one of them, somebody might just get set up and go right through it, so. And doesn't meet the warrants too, obviously. But we certainly, for quick approval, the cross traffic does not stop. Motion to,
Biggest issue there is the hedges. You're coming out of Judson, you can't see. That's the biggest issue.
That's the question. Have we ever considered, I assume that there's a lot of school crossing that happens there? We ever talked about a crosswalk across Beach Road there?
There have been some. The stance that at the time, the police department, engineering, and the Board of Ed, there's a crossing guard at the other intersection. And to be honest with you, people choose to go across and we go down in a form of an upside down L, or they can come the other way, which is like a sideways L. It's almost the same walking distance. Why not take advantage of the crossing guard rather than mid-block crosswalk without any traffic? And since you're coming around what we call Parrot Island, there's not that great sight distance coming up to that. And that's another, that was another reason why it's not automatic at the stop sign. That you can actually cross it. So we have to explain that. For short term, the police, cross traffic doesn't stop, and the one resident that made that both support. Make a motion to say cross traffic doesn't stop.
Second motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. So let's go to another one. It's Black Hawk Avenue. So the resident is Black Hawk Avenue resident who's making a complaint on Stevens. This is Black Hawk Avenue resident making a complaint on Stevens Lane. He says the drivers do not stop at the intersection before entering the on-ramp to I-95. So that's Stevens Lane. That's at Black Hawk Avenue. So sometimes people living somewhere else, but they are making complaint on somewhere else. So this is really hard. So we are proposing enforcement. One is the enforcement issue, status of line paving, proposed stop sign, enlarged stop sign and stop bar, red reflective stripe on stop sign and outer installation, lastly print stop on pavement and more. So we are proposing a stop sign, enlarged stop sign, red reflective stop sign. So what is
Yeah. Well,
Do you want to?
yeah, can you put it up? That's why I wasn't sure if you had that.
Stevens Lane?
Mhm.
So you're gonna write stop on the ground too?
Yes.
That's one of the options. This has been a reoccurring situation. Most people finally get through the traffic light, they want to just get up on the ramp and
It's hard to, because if you have a truck in the right lane, obviously you think you stop, but they're blocking it, so you're gonna get a lot of cars, well, they should stop, but if it's written or something, it might make it a little bit more obvious when they pull up to that stop bar.
so one of the options is median, but it's a very narrow median to put a stop sign, but if you have the standard stop sign, it's going to get hit.
Yeah, trucks.
Yeah. So I don't know if there's a smaller sign we can use, or if you can't put one there, then it goes back to the red reflective stripe, and you can make the sign larger. But to your point, if there's a truck with traffic backed up, you know, I can reach it. So probably the best thing is I think,
It's not pavement marking.
Where is,
It's where the trees are. Sorry, that tree
here,
line.
this tree here?
No, the tree group up here.
it's right here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So if you drop the street view, you're going to see a little bit better. Just drop a little
Yeah.
bit.
Keep craters.
Oh, like facing going the other way.
Yeah,
with
like
the
there
beach.
should really be a sign in the median. It's so narrow, it's just gonna get hit by the first truck.
Next thing is this far, and I don't know how to actually.
No, it's north of the highway.
At least the PD will be less replacement for DPW. Yeah. It's gonna spin around. 360.
Sorry, this mouse is really like something like this one.
No, go forward. Car's coming the other direction.
But that's one of the ways, though. Main ways.
This one's
There
No,
you
no, you have
back
to
a
go
little
back.
bit.
back or forward?
Back towards.
You're gonna go straight.
Go straight a little bit, and then you gotta turn yourself around.
Yeah, one or two more times.
Yeah, see where that is right there?
You see the wear of the traffic.
Yeah, it's okay.
One more time, and now you can probably see.
Yeah.
That's good.
This?
Now go forward.
That's the blue color. That's the approach.
Oh. And two stop signs. Oh, this is stop sign. This.
That's the one where
Yeah.
it's the most violence.
This one. This one?
Yep.
Okay.
But the word stop, it's definitely one of the approaches. The other would be to put a supplemental sign on the median, but it'd have to be smaller than the typical sign, because otherwise it's gonna get hit. Putting a stop ahead is another option, but I don't know.
Did you pay stop on the street?
Yeah, that's what that's the first, that's the thing, that's probably the most
Gotta do
advantageous.
stop on the
Yeah.
street. But stop.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean, like the-
I wasn't sure if you meant opposed to it.
No, I would just.
Yeah.
So then basically, the quick approval then becomes print the word stop, put the red reflector, and then put stop ahead sign.
Okay.
And just out of discussion, about the other approach. or
You
just
said
kinda
it's so
leave this for
narrow,
now?
it would probably be more trouble than.
I guess you can cat track the.
Yeah, something like that.
From the other direction?
Yeah. Cat tracks or you put a little yellow
That's right.
strip a little bit further.
Well,
so
yeah,
it
there's
keeps
no,
the con-
there's also no, there's no double yellow around
Right.
the
Yes.
median, right? So
Right.
I mean, you can do that too. Split it around.
Maybe that's.
That's probably better.
Okay.
Start there.
Also provide,
Yeah, you
yellow
can move it around.
those 4 items. Stop, red reflector strip, stop ahead sign, and provide the double yellow line, yellow arrow. I'll make a motion.
I'll second the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So next is the Melville Avenue. The resident is living on a Melville Avenue. That's why it's the Melville Avenue. But the complaint from this resident is regarding High Street and Holland Hill Road. The problem he's saying is that there's confusing traffic sign at Hyde and Holland Hill Road intersection. I will have Bill talk about this.
This was presented a few years ago, and Police Commission and engineers wrote the standard sign. Yeah, cross traffic does not stop. The requester said, how about putting traffic from the left does not stop? And I was ready to put it all in quick approval, it makes sense. But then, unfortunately, when you're on High Street, there's also traffic that is coming from the right. So let me just see. Traffic from the left does not stop. So that would still be in effect. Okay, so I don't have to, I'll cross out deny then. I missed it. So we could change the text. That's how it originally was. And I was confused because it's like I didn't want, I wanted them to make sure that they know.
So you don't recommend a four-way stop for this?
Not at this time, and the reason being for this one is that there's a slight slope, and I really would like to see what happens like wet conditions, because I'm afraid of track, because when people are approaching that stop sign and start up again on the slope. It's a subtle slope, you don't realize, but it's just fairly significant. Plus, maybe, I was hoping Anthony would be here, if he or anybody knows anything about the Army Reserve Center, but obviously, if that comes into play, then that's another reason certainly to go and stop, because now we'll have perhaps a fifth light there.
Coming in right back.
So want me to share the screen? Yes, please.
Yes.
So what's the recommendation here?
Well, it goes back to, I originally, on your packet, it might have said denied or. No, okay, good.
Recommend approval for release.
Traffic from the left.
Mid long-term investigative lead stop. Yeah. So right now, we're just approving the placard that
Right,
traffic.
right, unless everybody here, thinks so, always stop. The other is the slope is one concern, and the other is if it backs up into the New England Avenue. We didn't do any traffic counts or anything like that.
So the only free movement is the.
Right. Which I'm usually not a fan of either. I like to have everybody
Yeah, it's a
stop.
weird intersection.
It's a weird intersection, but we've only had 2 accidents there.
I was going to
In
say.
the last
we-
4
I
years.
was going to say, we look at the crash.
Yeah, so we've only had 2 accidents in the last 4 years, so it's a little bit weird. You gotta look back at lovers.
Yeah.
It's not like we haven't had many issues accident-wise in that location.
Okay, so
Geometry is so strange.
It's odd when
Yeah, it is.
As I said, if there's a driveway that comes up here, very
That
close.
screams for a roundabout. Little guy.
If we have right of way, that's always been our
Well,
biggest.
you have it's also sloped too, though, so you have to.
Yeah. slope.
Yeah. Where does the slope come in? By the sign? Or
Yeah,
high
it
school?
goes uphill, right?
it comes
Yeah.
up from Holland Hill.
yes.
Park Avenue is, Parkwood is pretty flat relative. All the rest of it, that's the slope, positive.
Maybe it's around that consideration.
That's okay, but it's.
Five. Under a lot of circumstances, when you have a 5-leg intersection, you want to break one of them off and kind of have it as an intersection.
Yeah.
On the
Before
sides,
it
to
ends.
right, I mean, forward, but this town, there's for any room. You'd be having this buys you out a complete lot of a parcel.
No, well, but if you end up with turn reserve.
Yes, yeah, that was I haven't seen a plan for that. That's what
I would definitely do the sub-placard.
Yeah. Yep, right, that would be the quick approval with the sub-placard. And then, again, just to let them know, we'll continue to investigate or study. If there's development in the area or, even through the Safe Streets for All grant, if this is something that's we're gonna look at, then, we can go forward. For a quick approval, I have, again, make the motion that we approve the placard that says, traffic from the left does not, based on the High Street.
All in favor say aye. 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 I'm going to move on to another one. Sedan Street. So we are on Sedan Terrace. The resident lives on Sedan Terrace, but he complains about the Chamber Street. He says vehicles don't stop on I-95 exit ramp and block the right-hand lane to Kings Highway. So Bill has posed one concern and why this is not an enforcement issue because it appears stop and stop sign. But engineering data-wise, we can consider a large stop sign that's a question mark in discuss this. Legit complaint but have limited solution. Always stop or install the problem. Consider alternative route using commerce with Brentwood. The recommendation is don't block sign.
Now it's don't block the intersection, very similar to what we just approved.
Yeah, so that's the recommendation that we should give both on.
Can I just use it?
Yeah.
Aerial,
Just
see
say where
exactly
it is.
Right
where
at
the sign's
Cumberland
gonna
Farms.
go.
Right?
This is like
Yeah,
south
You're
of
talking about
that, right?
This is southbound at Cumberland Farms?
That's correct,
Yeah.
southbound, and
So
if you
it's
were to
after
continue
you
on the ramp and you
finish the
didn't
under-
stop and you went straight, you'd go right into Cumberland Farm.
And they don't block the box right at the bottom of the ramp?
Yes,
Because they back up.
they back up.
Oh,
So
that's-
between the
that's
two
not
Cumberland
where
Farms
that is.
driveways, essentially, right?
So if you're coming from
I thought it
Chamber
was
Street
south of this.
and you're coming underneath the highway, now you're ready, you see a green light, you're ready to go forward, and then there's the traffic back up blocking you from doing that. And without being a smart aleck, but you know, we live on Melville Avenue, you know, because there's limited options you can do.
It's just such a
The
small.
state doesn't
little
want the
stretch.
traffic backing up onto the
Yeah.
highway, so, you
Yep.
know.
Very limited space to take
But
that
we
route.
could do the don't block the intersection sign, and then, other than that, you know, it's not really, it's somewhat of a safety issue, but not a major one. I mean,
Yeah,
people have to go around, it
It's more
stinks.
it's more of an issue backing up on the highway.
I thought it was this approach, this intersection south of the highway, not north of the highway, both sides. Requested based on just the streets.
He
that
says
were
exit,
referenced.
I-95 exit ramp.
So it's gotta be that one there, north of
Go-
the highway.
Right there.
It's gotta be that one.
Yep.
See what happens is there's two lanes here.
Yeah.
A lot of people that come here are going to Black Rock Turnpike. So they're gonna come here, they stop, and then if this is backed up, they're right where the C and the H is.
Yeah.
So now this guy coming this way, he can't get into his right turn to go that way. So that's what I was saying, well, you know, you can go Commerce and go Brentwood, and, you know, you don't have that issue. You know, I mean, we haven't gotten a lot of complaints on that as far as
They
I
can take a left as long as nobody's blocking the box.
Right.
So they kind of sell bullshit.
But at least putting the sign there might, you know, highlight, and then you're out on enforcement one day, people that blow through the stop sign or they block the intersection. At least it's just that so many people
Not many
use
options
that.
there.
Yeah.
Sometimes you crosshatch that whole area, but don't block the box. Is it
Right.
worth thinking about doing that, just to let people know when they're standing on a line, they know they shouldn't be? If you just sort of block out that intersection over to the gas station, with the stripes,
Yeah, the
the hash
cross.
marks.
But I think that's what we were gonna do at, the Sacred Heart of Park Avenue.
Old
Yeah.
Star, and the Old Star is not allowing that anymore.
What, I'm sorry, what was that?
The Old Star, the Office of State Traffic Administration Office, they are not allowing that crosshatch, so they want the signs to be posted, the mount posted signs. So that's why we're not doing that cross instead.
And they have jurisdiction here just because of the offering?
This one
I
definitely.
don't have I think it's also.
Okay.
Yeah, what jurisdiction do they have on a local road?
They don't have any jurisdictions on local road.
You
But
gotta-
then MUTC.
Depends on what it is.
Yeah, there's a couple of ones.
They do, but I know only speeds they have, right?
The speed limits,
Like
no
for
through
traffic,
trucks.
no foot traffic, yeah. no
And
traffic.
if there's major generator of traffic, even if it's on a local road, they put
Yeah,
comments in,
because of any commercials that are backing up. the
and any signal has to go through.
Definitely.
It being a ramp to the highway, the DOT has control, and Route 1. But we could do it, we could approve, I mean, we could say something, or again, make a motion similar to the other one, if we find out that they allow it, or maybe there was a misinterpretation, then we can
Right,
go back
yeah.
and put the cross hatching. Because this and the other location would be good, and I agree with that, yeah, the cross hatching, as I said, you get stuck there,
More of a visual,
it's kind of hard to say, you know.
People can say they miss signs, but it's
Yeah.
hard to miss that when it's, when
Exactly.
you're sitting on it.
And it's not in front of someone's house, so nobody would object. We could make the same motion that we would have the do not block intersection sign. And then in the event that we find that OSTA or the DOT or METC allows it, then we would put the cross hatching for greater emphasis.
I'm okay with any comments, questions?
Does that sound good, Mike? Is it Mike, right?
Yes.
All right, so there's the motion.
I'll
Good with
second the
me.
motion. Yeah, I'll second the motion. All in favor, say aye.
All right.
And move on to the other one.
The other ones, I think, Mega, you know more about than I do. This is kind of my group. With you, and these are the ones that mentioned.
How
Seven
many
of them?
have we got? One, two, three, four, so.
Yeah, that's cool.
We can run.
Okay. Thank you.
Did you do a quick glance at these? Anything?
I did.
Anything?
No, I didn't
that
see
you-
anything.
All right.
I'm done.
If not,
That's why I was.
okay.
Okay, good. So Frank has to leave us, so that leaves us four for the forum, which is Mike, Emmeline, Richmond, Jeremy, myself, and Mike. Okay, so we'll move on to the other one, Elm Street and North Benson Street. The complaint is traffic blocked the road due to stop sign. The countermeasure requested by complainant is don't block the box sign. Again, the one that intersection box sign. Looks fine, and so we did some research on this, and we actually agreed we can propose do not block intersection sign on this. Not blocking section section area that is possible. Section, so as for MTC and use this, so he's proposing do not blocking section sign like similar to the previous street sign, so that's a very simple one. If I get told
Does everyone know this intersection?
Yes.
Yeah. Probably save time. Again, these were supposed to be
yeah, they will be
quick
quick.
approvals.
So let's quickly approve this.
Yeah, I would put it under the same exact language as the other one, right?
I wouldn't paint this one.
You wouldn't paint it?
I don't think I'd
Because it's
paint
too
North Benson Road.
Okay.
It's kind of a different area.
Yeah, it's residential.
With the residential
Yeah.
houses there, I don't know if they're gonna want it. I
So
don't
we'll
know.
just approve the sign then.
I would think the sign would be the step.
Yes,
Make a
sign.
motion then.
Or should we just approve the no block sign?
Yes, do not block the intersection sign. I second the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. So let's go to Hillside Road and Old Academy Village, Polish quickly. On this one, Hillside Road and Academy Road, visibility issue, there's a safety concern over there. The complainant is asking for all the stop sign. Well, we don't allow, we're not all the stop sign on this. What we are proposing is the cross traffic doesn't stop under the stop sign. That's what we are proposing. So now, when we actually our intern is helping us out in figuring this out, he went out and this is what his comments are. If the road geometry and hedges, limited side is observed on older time road. Although no crash history is reported, immediate actions such as vegetation clearing, advanced warning signs, and speed common markings are recommended to make safety for road vehicles and pedestrians near the church, and a stop sign may be considered upon for the species. At this time, we are not proposing a stop sign, however, we are proposing that cross traffic is stop under the stop sign. So that's the only proposal we are doing. You don't have to do further investigation, you can tell DPW to clean up your hedges and treat the site plans, and make it more visible.
Just internally, so this is one you can certainly give to Holly to forward to DPW.
Yes.
Right, okay.
Any questions? This is very simple. I'll make a motion to do this. I'll make a motion. All in favor say aye. Aye. So Governor's Lane intersecting Bronson Road. Again, this complaint is about safety issue. There's a complaint saying there's a safety issue. Please add a stop sign. So we did some research on this, and this is what our research was. 7 crashes are reported as per Yukon representative in recent years at this intersection. Stop sign can be considered to install. Cross traffic doesn't stop. Sign can be installed immediately. They don't have to go to investigation or adding a stop sign. However, this cross traffic doesn't stop. We have people out there so that the people who are at this intersection and the Bronson and on Governor's Lane, they just know that the cross traffic is not stopping.
If you're northbound, I think there's a little bit of sightline issue for a stop sign to be there. So.
Okay. There's a site
And it's on a slope, it's on a
And you're
hill.
coming
so
uphill,
that's
it's kind of the same
curved, yeah.
situation,
And
so-
is that the one with the little island in the middle of it too? There's a little triangle there?
Yeah, on Governors.
Yeah.
Let me go the pictures. Get some pictures.
It's like, I think, looking at the Governor's traffic is probably.
Yeah.
Again, well, if it was more of a level, and a little bit more equal volume, then I'd have no problem with it. But and in fairness, the further investigation, because the 7 crashes, if they're all T-bone crashes, then maybe the stop sign is one. If it's rear end or people just missing the curve, then that's not. So we have to find out a little bit more about those 7 crashes.
I can share this. See how the sign is like, this is what you're talking about in the sign, like, put like a cross down on the sign. So this is similar to what it was.
So we added that stop sign right there.
Yeah.
Out of Governors.
Yeah, adding on to this.
Do you have an address on this, gentleman?
Let me go, let me have.
Shouldn't.
It seems like the primary collector, right?
Yeah, again, it's someone who's probably crossing the Bronx, and at times it's probably had a couple of near misses, to be honest with you.
I mean,
I don't blame
is the volume high enough to
Typical, I don't, governors, I don't think so.
No, I mean, on Bronson, it's the volume high enough that folks aren't having an opportunity to get out, so they're.
Oh, not that high,
Not
no.
that
They would
high.
definitely get out. Could be
Okay.
somebody that walks, like maybe they try to cross that intersection.
Okay.
That's the curb and you're going up a hill.
Okay.
Visibility breaks.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm going to make a motion.
Okay, yeah, let's see. Okay, second the motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Let's see. Jeff Street in Katona.
Thanks for stop sign violations.
Jeff Street in vehicles not stopping
No,
at
I
stop
I think they just
signs.
installed it.
So the crosswalk was just installed?
The painted crosswalks and other safety improvement is being requested by the complaining at this intersection. So as per our investigation, 4 crashes were reported at the intersection of St. David's Valley. While visibility and signage are adequate, installing painted crosswalks and additional markings will stop compliance. So what we are proposing over here is just a crosswalk.
It's been
Pretty
installed.
sure it's been installed.
The street in Katona.
They did sidewalks too.
Yeah, this might have, we were wondering, on this, and, they probably went and did it because we couldn't find whether there was a crosswalk there or not, but we noticed that you have 2 handicap ramps. And so there's a term called unmarked crosswalk, and that's what that would be. But if it's a big enough, or the volume's high enough for the street, you really should mark it. So to me, I think that's why this is in the quick category.
Yeah.
We all agree. We're giving them the legal approval. If they put it in, they put it in because it's common sense that you have the 2 ramps there.
So if there is no crosswalk, put a crosswalk.
Right,
in.
exactly.
Pretty sure they put it in when they did the side, because they expanded the sidewalks.
Right,
I
yeah.
think they did
And
the
they
whole
probably did the
project.
ADA ramp and stuff. So, it would just be to, we'll just formally approve the crosswalk, realizing that it might have already been installed.
Sounds like you just made a motion.
Yep.
Yeah, second.
Yep.
Okay.
All in favor, say aye. Okay, so we're done with these approvals. Just a little bit of discussion on, want to discuss the department measures, this one, or you want?
For which one now?
For item number 9, Fairfield Traffic Authority discussion of various department measures, speed humps, speed tables, raised crosswalk, on Yardi and Andressi Avenue, and on functional crosswalk adjacent to Hanson Flower Shop. So we have a lot of discussions. Want to split the discussion?
I think,
Because we don't have.
yeah, we don't really,
members.
barely have, it was just getting the idea
Yeah.
of, on some of these traffic measures, whether the town or the FTA want to start approving raised crosswalks, speed humps, or whatever, again, could you open up Pandora's box, or it might be time. That's, as members change, maybe opinions change, or whatever, police have done a study, pros and cons of speed humps. And that was a very 6 month, well, at least 6 month, if not a year, detailed study. But now it might be a little dated, it's over a decade old, I think, so whether we reopen that or not, or look at some new countermeasures, and that's part of the complete streets.
Right.
And some of the other, bike and pedestrian, and even some of the people that made requests, this past month or 2. They're looking at ways of slowing down the traffic. Yeah, you should at least start thinking of maybe some countermeasures that we would approve, or maybe on a trial or demonstration basis. So just trying to get that. And then speaking of the demonstration, are they still going forward, or?
We have to discuss on the installer part right now, that's where we are stuck. That's one issue. Another issue is like how we are installing. This is the first demonstration and the we have not done installations for us. So the installation is a little bit challenging. Obviously, we have installers, but we need some people to talk about the areas and they're how to install it in construction will happen. So that's what we're trying to figure out. Our team, internal team that will be teamed up with the installer to go out. So that's one thing. Second is some have recommended that maybe we should wait for next spring because 2 months period because in the winters we want to take the bollards out because of the snow plowing issues. So question is, if we do end of September, we have only until December to put it or until the snow season hits. So that's something that we are trying to figure out what we should do now. Is it worth keeping for 2 months and then coming back and reinstalling for another 3 months, or 2 months are enough for the studies? Or we just do in spring and keep it from school season to August or June to August. So that's where we are with that installation.
I'm okay with the demonstration of 2 months. I don't know how, I wouldn't want it too much shorter. But that's just my opinion.
So October and November, we can do it by end of next week or beginning of.
But we have to check with DPW.
The whole point is the teaming up with the installer because the staffing shortages obviously here in the town. DPW members and other stuff. So we're trying to figure out how we team up with it. That's what we're trying.
So no big early.
They email playing.
No, playing.
Yeah, we've already, the FTA
Yeah,
has
stuff we
already
talked
approved
about, yeah.
it, right. I mean, the other thing, just not to delay them, delay the meeting any longer, but just for me, the bollards, and I think Megan will agree, when we did, because we have something similar, the tall cones that we used in previous demonstrations, but then people think they're construction or there's some, and it's, you might not have the same effect with these bollards. They'll know it's not construction, it's for a future project, and so it might be either more comprehension or a more realistic effect than what we had before.
Is that what they put on Fairfield Ave? All the
Yes,
white-
Yes, that's exactly.
okay.
That's a pretty good
That's
Same thing, they
pretty
just
much
put them in,
similar,
and
similar
now,
idea.
and then in December or November, they'll have to take that out, which anybody that maintains that doesn't have to do that. It's for safety.
Okay, so that's where
Okay,
we
yeah.
are with that quickly. So Anyadi and Resi, we want to discuss some functional crosswalk really quickly on this. That's part of your comment.
Is this the flower shop? This
Yes,
one?
the flower
On this
shop.
one here, 'cause I think Emmeline, I brought it up as well. At the Cumberland Farms, at the Citgo gas station, Hanson's flower shop, and I'll call it the medical building or something like that. You have a four-way intersection, Round Hill Road, Beach Road, with a little bit of a ski road. The state said, we're gonna try to update some of the traffic equipment and update the ramps. I was pretty excited about that. This is an intersection that we've had a lot of complaints about. And so they put like 2 crosswalks in. The other one, they didn't even finish the ramp right, and there's no crosswalk going across Mount Hill. And then there's no crosswalk going around across Post Road on the east side. Maybe they thought it wasn't necessary, but being that there's a transit stop right at the bus station, I mean, at the flower shop, and at the medical building on the other side, you know, you're basically asking people to walk around 3 approaches instead where they can go straight, right, exactly. So I was disappointed on that. I had made a request, maybe with the FTA providing a letter and co-signed by the police, bike and ped committee, a couple of town officials, engineering zoning. Maybe that pushes it a little bit further, especially if we get state delegation. So, because, you know, I mean, the only other thing I could think of is if they felt like those now change the intersection and now you gotta change the timing and you gotta do all these other things. At least give us an answer rather than they just didn't do it. So that was that one. So that was basically is that the recommendations that we would, the LTA, FTMs, would forward a proposed walk crossing if
Yes.
everybody seemed to agree. I mean, we have enough here. If Mike's on board with that, are you familiar with that intersection, Mike?
I have it on my screen.
Okay. If he agrees, well then, even though there's not everybody here, we have enough to pass the vote and send a letter to the state.
Yeah, I'm good with that. That's a tough blind spot.
Yes.
Coming out of Round Hill too.
And I just don't understand why the state is reluctant to do that. And there may be a good reason, but at least let us know what the reason is, rather than just not.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Yeah, okay, good. All right, so recommendation of the letter from this,
Letter for
Yeah.
recommendation
for the crosswalks on Round Hill and on Post Road, to make it a total of 4 crosswalks. And then the next
It shouldn't
step,
affect the cycles much anyways if they all signal at the same time.
the next step is pedestrian indicator, because there's only one little push button thing, maybe 2.
And the idea, we put it in the idea because it says that,
Oh, you know what we were thinking on that one?
further investigation.
Maybe Jeremy, can you
Yes.
shed some light, because we were trying to figure out if this was a recommendation by the police, or you had received a Q alert and was
Probably a
just
Q alert.
forwarded.
This is fuel rerouted by police department.
Probably a Q alert that was forwarded.
Oh,
Yes.
And
okay.
I looked, and we haven't had any accidents in that intersection, so it's not a crash issue.
Right.
It's probably similar to the same thing where crossing traffic doesn't stop. Because you have it's gonna be the same thing if you had another stop sign, it's the same thing, stop sign, stop sign, stop sign. So it's gonna be repetitive. So if anything, it'd just be, I think, a sign
Sign.
just saying crossing traffic doesn't stop, it's probably the most logical solution to,
So, now is that one that we can vote on, or do we have to?
This is for discussion, but we can
Discussion.
vote on, oh, it's not a voting.
Then we'll push it to next.
We'll push it to next one because we have said to be further
and
investigated.
like I said, it's not something that's like,
The other one is writing a letter.
Yes.
I'll make that argument in that I already wrote a letter, I just
Okay.
needed more support, so to
Okay.
me, that one doesn't need to be on the agenda. It's not a decision being made, it's basically sending a letter. You disagree, though? I think for the interest of public safety, I think that's, yeah.
Okay, good, so we're done with these items?
Just, I mean, I don't know, we have, the audience, I don't know.
No, we have no.
No, over here?
No, those, they're separate. We don't have any comments on this one.
We're just waiting for someone out there.
Yes, yes.
Oh, okay, those are the ones that you
So,
met with
we will
before, I
go
apologize.
Yeah, we're coming to learn too. Just observe
Yeah,
and
yeah.
understand, like, we're not experts on this, so.
So, okay, so we can move on to this, any old business. And one thing that I want to discuss right now, because we have a little bit backlog from this one meeting was cancelled. From a little bit June, July, August, I have actually included as much as possible, including food, so I don't think there should be more coming up. But just in case, because now we are cross-referencing the sheets, we're also including how to respond back to the public on time and making it much more efficient process to that process. While we are cross-referencing our list of keywords and all the FTA web pages and everything, it could be a possibility we may need a special meeting. I'm not sure at that point, because just to remove all the backlog so that we can just go to when the next meeting happens, we can start fresh and more efficient. That's what we're doing. Because in case we need a special meeting and we have a special meeting, Commissioner Kylie said that a special meeting is before it should be 2 weeks from today. Not sure if there is any timeline, right? Just in case if we need, but if we don't, we don't.
I do recall this discussion coming up
Yes.
when we were forming the group, and we always said if there's a heavy number,
Yes.
and this doesn't surprise me, probably doesn't surprise anybody, when you have school reopening,
Yeah.
it has and now you have parents at the bus stop where maybe during the summer they weren't, now they're a lot more alert, especially if they have a new child going to a new school or a new bus stop, everything's all heightened awareness. I would not be opposed if it's needed. So then we'd be looking at, right now, would be October 2nd.
Or are we talking about the last week of September?
October 2nd, yeah, last
Got
week
2
of
weeks.
September.
Okay.
Wait, we're at the 18th.
Yeah.
So we did 2 weeks from now.
Nine.
Second.
Yeah, October 2nd.
Okay.
Now, we have a meeting in the morning. I'm going to be at what, 4 o'clock to the same time?
He said at 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
He said 2 weeks.
Well, we'll pencil it in, and then
We'll
if you
pencil
need
it.
it,
I will circle around with the time with everybody, day before. Just as a placeholder for special meeting October 2nd. Time right now 4 o'clock, but it's flexible. I will check with everybody and decide. Just in case, may not be. Okay, good. And listeners have given, yeah.
I was contacted by MetroCog to check in on the road safety audit. So we checked in with the Connecticut DOT, and right now they don't have a contract in place for road safety audits. So what they said is that they're actively working towards establishing one in the near future. However, they're also updating their application process and guidelines, so they're gonna let us know when that reopens up. So unfortunately, they did get our materials, but they're not able to act on a road safety audit for Coast Road at this time. So we'll.
that happened with Stratfield Road.
Yeah, so we'll.
Remember?
So I'm sure, hopefully, they'll alert the COGS, and then the COGS can circle back with us so that we can get that on the list to be able to do that for the Coast Road area.
That's a
Just
big
an
one. That's a
FYI.
big.
Just
Yeah.
FYI. Good. Okay. So, any other updates, anything else you guys have, when we will discuss?
Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn,
Second by Mike.
and seconded by Mike, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, good, guys, have a nice day.
Long meeting, but we got a lot,
Well done.